Okay, good evening, ma'am. Should we start?
Yeah, good evening, Kash. Yes, we can
Okay,
move ahead.
okay. A very good evening to all the participants. I, Dr. Utkarsha from Team Just Agriculture, cordially welcomes you all to to the seventh day, that is the last day of 1 week faculty development program on effective research methodology and publication, jointly organized by Just Agriculture, the magazine, and SGT University, Gurugram, Haryana, ICR accredited. Today, we have with us Dr. Archana Chaudhary for the first session, and I would like to give a brief introduction of her. Dr. Archana is an associate professor of SGT University, Gurugram, Faculty of Science, Department of Environmental Science. She began her academic career after receiving a PhD in zoology from Agra University. She has almost a decade of experience in teaching postgraduate and undergraduate students, as well as an extensive understanding in research and administration. Her main research interests are environmental toxicology, biochemistry, and ethics. She has actively participated in a variety of academic activities as a representative of the Steering Committee UNESCO Bioethics Unit, Institution Innovation Council, Environmental Committee, Editorial Board, and external subject experts, as well as a convener in a number of national and global seminars and conferences and workshops. She is involved in several academic programs and serves as a peer reviewer for recognized journals. She has several research articles and book chapters published in prestigious journals, both national and international. So now, without wasting much of our time, I would like to call upon Dr. Archana ma'am to take over the session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for introducing me to the audience, and a very warm welcome to all the audience participants of this FDP program. And I wish all the participants good evening. And before starting this topic, I have chosen a very crucial topic in the society. And when we talk about the ethical concern, there are lots of dilemmas a researcher, academician, or any person who is involved in any kind of professional is used to. Now, let me share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. You have just started the screen sharing.
Yeah. So today we will talk about the ethical values and concerns pertaining to agriculture sector. Now we all know that agriculture sector is the major sector which defines humanity, and humans cannot strive without depending on the agriculture sector. But what about the ethical values? How we have to deal with these ethical values in agriculture sector? When we talk about what is ethics, we all know every coin has two faces, whether it's right or wrong. Now, when we talk about the ethics, sometimes it happens it is right, but in some cases it may be wrong, and we have to be very specific whether we are choosing whether it is right or wrong. And ethical issues are like that, and ethics helps in resolving these kind of dilemmas in our life. When we talk about ethical behavior is doing the right thing when no one is watching, even when doing the wrong thing is legal. Sometimes it happens that the laws allow us to do the wrong thing, but our own concern, our own moral values does not allow to go for that. And there it is ethics which make us to define whether we have to go in this direction or not. And this is the very famous Aldo Leopard who gave this statement mentioning that it is ethical behavior is doing the right thing when no one is watching. Earlier we used to have our own values and morals that no one is watching, but someone is there who is watching. Now in present scenario, CCTVs are there which are watching us, and we all are doing the things when we see yes, no one is watching, or if anything is not going beyond that. Now, how important are ethics in today's society? Our society is moving ahead We have done lots of advancement in terms of knowledge, techniques, and recent advances are coming daily on the regular basis, and we are touching new heights in terms of knowledge and techniques. But how we are dealing with this ethics, because it is not in a scientific way. If I say what is ethics, it is more of an concern with the philosophical term, not of the scientific term. But how we differentiate this ethics with other science. If I say a simple sentence, how a man behaves, that is a descriptive science which we studied under the psychology. Means if you are dealing how a farmer behave, how a student behave, that how he is behaving, that descriptive science comes under the psychology. But when we talk about the ethics, we are asking how a man must behave. That is forma ke saath. Means we have to check out that how he has to behave in that scenario, whether we are dealing with a scholar, whether we are dealing with a student, or we are dealing with an academic. Those we are studying under the science, this is called as the anthropology. The hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible,
Okay, okay.
but your screen is
Uh,
not visible. Please share your screen.
is it visible?
Yeah,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
it visible?
Yeah. Now I'm talking about this economics when we are concerned with the goods, because there are lots of things in agriculture sciences where we have to deal with, because we are dealing directly with the farmers' livelihood or the other community, and everyone is dependent on the agriculture science for their food, and that is one of their basic necessity. But with concern with these goods, these are those objects which are the means of satisfying any human want. But in case of ethics, deals with those acts which are the condition of the attainment of the highest end of life. Means ethically there we are doing with the how we are attaining the highest end of life. Now, how this ethics originate, or we can say the genesis of ethics. The evolution of ethics is expanding in the same more or less with our humanity, and the way we interact, we socialize, and these fundamental rights they emerge in the history. The same way the ethics also evolve in that. When earlier we talk about our natural rights, then we came out about the independence, then our citizenship act, labor act, civil rights, then we are talking about the endangered species, we are talking about the nature. And the same way, the evolution of ethics also simultaneously take place. First, we were dealing with ourselves, then we started with the helping and understanding our family, then with the nation, then we talk about the humans, animals, planet, and in this way we have attained to the universe level. But still, lots of work needs to be there so that we can understand and we can ethically doesn't disturb our universe, and we are facing lots of problems nowadays which are due to these nature disturbances. Now, the same way the genesis of agriculture started, because it started with when someone planted the seed for the first crop in the earth, and the seed for civilization is parallelly as there, means with the agriculture civilization starts, and these seeds grow into languages. When we talk about the human civilization languages, then the birth of mathematics, engineering, biotechnology, bioinformatics, and subsequently same way the ethics also follow. With the start of language, we start how we have to talk with our colleagues, how we have to talk in family, how we have to talk in the society. And with the advancement, we talk about the engineering, biotechnology. Same way in agriculture, we have utilized biotechnology, we have utilized engineering. And these both the things they develop parallelly. And that's the reason why ethics is also emerged and a major concern in agriculture sciences. Now we all know these ethical principles that we have to be accountable, we have versatility, we have autonomy, non-maleficence. I'm not going to go in the depth of these ethical principles because we have lots of sessions where we deal with the principles and the research principles and the other research ethics, where we have to draft our research proposal, where we have to deal with all these concerns. Now, some of the theories of ethics which are there, which I want to align with the agriculture ethics. That first one is the rights theory, which states that individuals have rights and are entitled not to be harmed against their will. Hence, every individual has a right, how he has to do and what he wants to do. Then second, this is one of the theory of the ethics, and which is an alignment with the agriculture. Now, second one is utilitarian or consequentialist, which define that we have to act in a way that maximum benefit we get at the end without having any or least harmful consequences, which is there in the utilitarian theory. Then we talk about the virtue theory. When we talk about virtue theory, it is ethically we ought to act in accordance with the set of ideas of character which we have inherited, which from our family, from our society, and from our ancestors. And we are following those virtues or preventing others who are not following. Means if anyone is harming anyone, maybe an animal or we are plucking a flower, simple example. But everyone, we have a moral values that we are not going to pluck a flower if we are not in a demand of this flower. And that is there in the virtue theory. But when we talk about the ethical paradigm in agriculture, these are again aligned with these ethical theories. First one, this was rightfulness, that is autonomy and consent. Now, everyone has the ethical right to choose what they are consuming and what they are producing. Means it's depending on my own identity, and I have an consent. I have an autonomous that being an autonomous individual, I have the right what I want to consume or what I want to produce. And I have 100% consent that I want to avoid or reject if I desire so. And then we talk about the utilitarian theories, which says greatest good for the greatest number. And it is one of the main concern in the agriculture sector, because we are moving towards the sustainable development, where one of our SD goals state that we have to reduce the hunger and we have to attain zero these options, and there everyone should be have their access to food, access to other equally in the nature. And it emphasizes on quantity, which is attained through zero hunger. Quality means if we are providing zero hunger, then quality should be maintained in such a level that safe and nutritionally adequate food we should be there, and we are not providing any unhealthy or without any nutrition food. Means we are not just giving the food, but it should be safe and nutritionally adequate. And parallelly, we have to keep in consideration the affordability of the product, whether the consumers they are able to afford that food which they require, or the farmers which are producing that food, are they getting the profit or are they getting the proper benefit by having that agriculture product in their field. And these all three terms, they are there to achieve sustainability, because unless we have zero hunger or the safe and nutritional adequate food or affordable for consumers, we cannot attain the greatest good for the greatest number. And third one is ethics of virtue of tradition, means how we are living on or how our life is going on. It views agriculture as more than a business or economic sector in the society. Because when we talk about Indian scenario, we are just focusing on that India is an agricultural land. But unless we are able to satisfy the need of every Indian, we can't achieve that we have attained the zero hunger. So we have to focus our agriculture sector so that the greatest good for the greatest number can be achieved. And through ethics of virtue and tradition, we are trying to use the family traditions which earlier farmers were doing. And in this scenario, presently, there is an initiative by the government for this large grain, जैसे मोटा अनाज जिसको हम बोल रहे हैं, millets, and Indian government is focusing on that part so that we can go back to our traditional values and virtues so that we can attain the zero hunger in that. Because if we are changing our food pattern, we are changing the production of food, then we are playing with the God. Means we are upsetting the operation of ecosystem. We are disbalancing it, and we have seen a lots of cases where this disbalance has created a major problems in the society. And these disbalance not only affected the human health, but it is also affecting the overall nature of them. Because when we go to our ancestral history of Indian traditional agriculture sector, we see that these some crops, they are not there in our tradition, but we have borrowed them from Western countries and now following those. And along with those foods, we have got lots of other issues, and we have got some other areas which are have affected due to this. Not only our nature, but the personality. We are getting so many of problems due to that, and we are manipulating so many species so that they can acclimatize to our Indian sector. And this is not as such acceptable unless we have a proper support for that, unless we have proper evidence for that, and if we are doing that in a right way. And in this context, the right way means ethically way, that ethically it is right, ethically it is true. Now, when we talk about this ethic created to address topics or issues associated with the overall integrity of the farming sector, there are lots of other elements of agriculture that can promote unethical actions to achieve a goal. And we are seeing that. In last 2 years back, we have educations from the farmers, where lots of things have happened. Some were agreed for that, some were not agreed for that. That is a political concern which we are not going to discuss here, but that is one of the challenges which we are facing. And when we are talking about the agriculture ethics, we have to deal with all the sectors which are related with the agriculture, whether it is the farmers who are producing, the researchers who are identifying other varieties or who are working in this direction, or the end users which are going to have those in their plates. So we have to deal with that with a very conscious way, and we have to keep a check on the ethical actions if anyone is doing ethically or unethically. We have lots of the newspapers news, and I think daily one or two another news came which shows that how the unethical practices are going on, which are affecting the agriculture sector, which are affecting the food industry. And these sectors, they are not only raising the issues, but they are affecting everyone. They are affecting all the concerns or the stakeholders. And so we have to choose the widely that how we can identify these ethical issues, ethical concerns. And ethical analysis is only one of a number of disciplinary tools for discussion related to food, agriculture, and the environment, because these food, agriculture, and environment, they go hand in hand. If environment is not sustainable or not efficient or not healthy, then we cannot get a good agriculture practice there. We cannot get good agriculture products. And if we are not having good agriculture products, we are not having quality products from the agriculture sector, then we won't be able to attain zero hunger. we won't be able to supply proper food to our population, and we have then we start doing malpractices or unethical concerns. So we have to, this is in a very sensitive area, and lots of work has been done regarding the ethical issues in medical sector and biomedical sector, but we are now at an early stage where we have to deal with the environmental ethics or the agriculture ethics, because medical sector, we all know, we treat these doctors as a god. But what about the farmers? What about the researchers who are going in the agriculture sector? They are trying to give our life a meaningful and a healthy life. Without uh, food, we cannot survive for a long. And ethically, they are the one who have who have initiated, who have helped an individual to grow in and they are responsible for the growth and development of the humanity. Doctors are there, medical fraternity is there, but now we have to take consideration into the agriculture ethics also along with the environmental ethics, because these go hand in hand. And when ethical factors in agriculture, they are not spread to the only one who are dealt with the field, or who are trying to find out new and new research in this area. They are all to the farm to fork, means a food which is grown in the field in the form of a grain, to and the spoon where we are utilizing from the spoon to our mouth to feed ourselves. So we have to select and identify every part of it, and we have to deal with the every concept where it is going from farm to fork. And we have, there are lots. Now when I said to the farm to fork, let's have an example. From farm, we are using substandard seeds. The seeds are not properly managed. The quality of seeds is not good. We are trying to use maximum fertilizers so that we get the maximum benefit. But what about those if we are using maximum fertilizers? Then these fertilizers, they are actually accumulating in our body and affecting our health. But the farmer, he used to say, कि मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. If I'm using fertilizer, I'm getting the maximum product. Why shouldn't I use it? Same is the way if there are some plants problems, or a weedy side is there, or sorry, weeds or insects which are affecting the production of the, then we are using chemicals, and these chemicals are, they are ultimately ending into the our body. And when we talk about our body, this is one way is not there. From the farm land, from the agriculture land, these chemicals, they are entering the soil, and from the soil again entering the food cycle, and not even enter through the soil, then they are going to the water runoff and accumulating in the water bodies. From water bodies again entering the your food chain. And or if we are consuming those products from where lots of chemicals have been spread, they are again ending up entering our body and affecting our health. So these dimension of issues are quite vast, starting from technical, environmental, social, political, economical, and behavior. Means when I am talking about behavior, now you will be having a query why behavior is there, because we are inclined to see what we perceive. जो हमें देखना चाहते हैं, जो हम दिखना चाहते हैं, हम वही perceive करते हैं. If someone is sitting beside me and he's having in his plate lots of variety of different processed food, then I will be surely 1%, if not 100%, 50%, I will be inclined कि उसकी plate में ज़्यादा अच्छा है, and it's this food is seeming more tasty. Instead of being aware that this processed food, it is having lots of preservative and chemicals, which I should avoid. And that is a human tendency, human behavior. We attract to others. So in agriculture ethics, we have to deal with every aspect, every dimension, and we have to work in a holistic manner so that we can attain much. Now, some of the ethical issues which are affecting the agriculture industry, which I have spoken about, that is mother nature. We are playing with our mother, I must say. Means we are just doing maximum harm which we can do to our nature. We are doing everything because unknowingly sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, we are not aware what is happening to the mother nature. And we are talking, there is lots of concept of having different traditions, different techniques which there in the agriculture industry. For example, earlier we were saying that let's move towards organic farming. Then some said let's move to the crop rotation. Then someone said okay, let's have this technique. But every technique, every modernization, every advancement has a loophole in it, and we have to scrutinize it. We have to see it that it doesn't go beyond that. Means it doesn't affect so much that it hampers. Now, again, one more concept like agroforestry. I'm just naming few of the techniques. You might be aware of many techniques like that. And ultimately, they all are affecting our mother nature, our mother earth. Now, we have seen a drastic change in the climate change. And we know farmers are totally dependent on climate. If the climate is not suitable, we are providing an artificial climate so that they can get the production. Means they are using lots of water in irrigation from other sources. That climate change is directly or indirectly affecting the agriculture industry, not at the ground level, but up to the end level. Then economical agriculture issues. Now we have seen there this Ukraine war, and in Sri Lanka last few days back, and in Pakistan, there are lots of severity regarding the food grains. And these economical issues of the GDP of their countries, they are affecting the agriculture sector. And these are the concerns where some stakeholders, they start doing the unethical practices. And in this unethical practice, what happens? They will raise the price. Those persons who are having the grains in their stores and their godowns, they will increase the price. And in some, it might happen that the rate hike or this economic uh, affect the country's work, and somehow it happens that they are not utilized at all, and person dies with the hunger, and we are having the food stored in our godowns, but no one is there to pay the price. So these are another issue which agriculture has to deal with, and there we have to deal with ethically accordingly, so that these issues cannot be means it doesn't leave us in a dilemma and we directly affect. Then environmental issues we have dealt in again in this, and we are facing lots of problems nowadays that how this pollution it is affecting. We have seen drastic change in last 2-3 months, that instead of getting the basant season this time, we are just switching to from winter to the summer season, and we are feeling that we have skipped our basant session, and because the utmost part like the beautiful environment in this season, where we used to have so many different kind of flowers and other things which we can observe, and for their aesthetic values also. But these environmental problems, they have created these issues. Then political factors which I have discussed with this, like Ukraine and other these, there are certain political issues that if you are shifting an industry and the raw product for that industry is based on the agriculture yield, then it is going to affect a lot. Then politically, we are concerning with these issues and they are affecting us a lot. Now, these political issues, they are not only in this, but in every sector. Now, we are talking about agriculture sector, we are talking about the agriculture industry. In industry also, there is lots of concern about the safety of food, treatment of animals, because animal husbandry is one of the part of the agriculture sector. Then we are using the chemicals, not from the sowing of the seed, or you can say before sowing of the seed, we are treating our agriculture field with the chemicals, and up to the end user. That means when we get in our plates, there are lots of chemicals which are entering through various routes, and they prepare a complex food which we are consuming. Then farm management, sometimes it happens that you have everything in enough quantity, but the management is not there. Means you are lacking the transportation, you are lacking in the providing the actual data, you are not able to provide resources to manage that farm product. Then there is sometimes trade agreements also there which affect the agriculture industry, and at most the sharing of information. I'm just quoting a simple example from day-to-day life, that if a farmer is growing wheat in a 2-acre area and he's saying that I'm using this type of fertilizer in this ratio, I get maximum. So what the bee farmer will do? He will increase the amount of that fertilizer without knowing the impact, and later on find that his production decrease. So that sharing of information needs to be very well scrutinized, so that a proper information should be transferred to others and no such issues happen there. When we talk about other, there is two approaches in agriculture, that is ethics in agriculture, means how we are applying the ethics in agriculture sector, and second is agriculture ethics in follow, means how agriculture ethics is applied in various other associated industries. These are the basic features of agriculture which distinguish it from other type of industrial activity. Means when we talk about the other industries, these agriculture industry, they are not with that, because in other industries there are certain code of conducts which we do not require from the ethical point of view. We are just discussing about the professional ethics with employer and employee they should have, and the coordination with that, and management uh, codes should be there, and likewise. But this industry is totally from other industry, is so many aspects, and we can't directly dealing it with the medical ethics. The reason, because in medical ethics we are directly dealing with the humans. Here in agriculture sector we are dealing with the different way, and I will discuss one two case in the end before I wind up there, so we will be able to identify what are those. This industrial activity is distinguished from other types of industry because there is a universal requirement of food, agriculture's major product. We can't say in other industry that this is the universal requirement of everyone. And agriculture biological basis is assimilation, which is the use of extensive fertile land area, fresh water, and essential nutrients, which is inevitable in agriculture production, and we cannot move without these essential nutrients. The use of plants and animals, biological growth and reproduction, because even a single change which we have issues which we have seen in the previous slide, that is ethical, environmental, climatic, and management, they at any level, if there is there, that will totally change the cycle. Biological growth and other, they will be affected, and indirectly they will affect a lot. Its dependency on stable environment and ecosystem is a must, and it is an organic process which depends on exploitation of living resources. But we have utilized so much of these living resources that it is becoming now a problem for ourselves, and its foundational importance for national economies, that the nation's economy is totally dependent on the agriculture sector, how they are attaining, how they are achieving, and how they can be dealt with these, so that they can move to the next standard the sustainable development goals, which the every country is trying to concentrate and is trying to achieve, so that sustainability can be assured. And we cannot now at this stage we cannot afford to lose anything. We are not in a condition we will revert back. Now we have to stop, and we have to be and very precise in choosing our things. Now I'm shifting to this agriculture sector, to agriculture research, because research is one of the main component of agriculture sector which has bring a boom to the agriculture sector, which have bring a boom. And these researchers or research which is going on, there are certain issues which need to be dealt, because in agriculture research we have to think of the sustainability. I discussed that we have adopted so many techniques, but we have just seen what are their benefits. doesn't account for the how long they will be affected and what will be the future of that. For example, I'm just quoting an example that in one of the northwest state, the government is giving subsidy to farmers who are shifting from paddy crops to other crops. Why they have taken this initiative? Because through research they came to know that in this particular area, farmers they are growing lots of paddy crops because paddy crops is fetching them lots of money. And to grow these paddy crops, they are extracting lots of groundwater, and this groundwater is depleting the area, and it is ultimately affecting the overall area. And in this initiative, they have find out okay, how we can stop. And in this way, the government and private sector they come hand by hand, and they provide some incentives so that the sustainability can be attained, and they are getting accountable for that. If there is a overall loss in a state area or the production of agriculture product in a particular area, then who is accountable? So these researchers they are working in this direction so that it can be effective. And in this concern, there is capacity building, which is location specificity. Means if a farmer is growing any crop in this area, A region, then this is not sure that the same crop can give proper yield or the same weightage if it is grown in the B area, because the other location specificity is the main concern. And along with that, we have to be responsive. What we are doing means we are responsible, and how we are empowering the informal innovators and knowledge holders. We, being from the academic and research faculty, the knowledge which we have gained through books and other things, our ancestors, our forefathers, our elders, they have that information in an informal way, and they have practiced it and last so many years that after going through their knowledge we feel yes हमने तो कुछ पढ़ा ही नहीं. They know everything. They are not having scientific base, but they know each and every component. So we have to utilize that, which I have discussed in earlier slides, where we were talking about the ethics, virtue, and traditional ethics that we have to identify, and there we have to share our knowledge in the fraternity. How if I have done something, unless I send that information, I share that information to the end user or the stakeholder, then what is the use of doing that research? What is the use of getting that knowledge if it is not for the society, not for the benefit of the others? It is there. We have to be accountable, and we have to search how we are doing. For this, UNESCO ethical guidelines have provided some guidelines, that is how the principal investigator is doing. I'm not going into the detail, but I'm just going through the points that the principal investigator, he should have that proper knowledge, how he is going to apply that. And if he is getting some consent from anyone, from the owner of the farmer or from the owner of the anyone, then he should have that informed consent. Then integrity of the research enterprise is maintained, potential benefit and harmful effect. The participant in society, I spoke to this example of water scarcity, groundwater scarcity in the northwest region. Then they have assumed that if the same pace of growing paddy in this area continues, it is going to affect the society in future. So that is there we have to consider. Consider the effect of work, including consequences or misuse. Means if you are misusing it, if you are not utilizing it properly, then what will be the consequences in next future? Awareness of local customs, standard laws and regulations. यहाँ पर सिंपल सी saying है कि अगर जंगल के अंदर शेर इससे दोस्ती कर लेगा तो वो खाएगा क्या? Same is there. We have to be there with our local customers. What are their needs? What are the laws which are prevailing in that particular area? We cannot confine, we cannot go beyond that. And when we are considering the ethical guidelines, we have to acknowledge from where we are getting all these things. So that, and we have to report it widely so that everyone gets it. Now, some of the Economic and Social Research Council guidelines are there, which defines the ethical consideration in agriculture sector that research should be designed. And lots of in previous sessions we have discussed how these research papers, this research proposal, and different agency where we have to submit, they have to go through them, and we have to find out how this can be attained, how we can move it ahead, and how this information can be supplied to research subjects, and what harms should be avoided in that concern, that how avoidance of any harms to extend to the family or community or anyone else, and these groups should not be unreasonably excluded from research. And if you are excluding, doing some exclusion, that should be sorry, that should be there. And the independence of the research must be clear. Any conflict of interest or partiality, it must be explained. Then we are talking about the ethical principles and research that we have already discussed in research ethic, which earlier was taken in the session, where we have to see what are the components or the procedures for an informed consent and consent. Earlier it was there that we are just taking the consent, but now there is a provision that we have to get the informed consent, that too also in bilingual language, so that a person can be easily able to understand. It is just simply that when we are seeing an advertisement, or we are going to get an mobile app in our phone, we just scroll down and accept all the terms and conditions without going through the deck. But in case of research ethics, you have to be very, very specific in getting the informed consent. Means you have to explain each and every component, each and every word of your consent form, so that the volunteers, they come forward, and because these volunteer participation, they have the right that they can leave at any stage, they can quit at any part, and if they are informed properly, they will help you throughout your research. And there should be no harm, minimized harm should be there, and we should stick to their privacy, we should stick to their anonymity, we should stick to their confidentiality. We have to maintain confidentiality. ये होता है कि आप किसी को मत बताना मैंने आपको ये बात बताई. This is a human tendency, this is a behavior. But now we have to, when we are a research scholar, we are responsible, we are accountable, we are concerned. So if we want to take our research to a next level, then we have to keep these back in our mind. We have to decide where we have to be open, where we have to be stopped, where else we have to draw a line. Then autonomy means you are there to take your own decision, but while you are taking the decisions, you have to be specific that you are going in a right way and an ethical way. Sometimes it happens that ethically it is right, ethically it is wrong, but it depends upon the situation, which condition you will favor or which condition you will accept. And there are certain theories on which you can claim that if you have taken this a decision which was ethically wrong, but you have taken this decision on the basis of this theory, which we have discussed in the earlier section. Then integrity means we have to integrate all the things so that everything go in a manner, in a way, so that no one gets harmed. So we have to be very conscious in every aspect so that we get our fruitful work. Then some of the AP ethics code standard, where everything is there, that we have lots of discussion has earlier happened, that plagiarism is there, we are fabricating the data, we are not doing the proper recording, we are not giving proper weightage, we are not giving proper credits to the person who are involved in it, or we are not doing the proper, we are not following the proper animal ethics, or no, doing lots of things. And sometimes it happens a lot that we are, as an individual, that yeah, I am an academician, I have the right to have to do, but unless we get the institutional approval, how we are going, we are using the facility of institution. And if you are using the facility of institution, then you take the approval from the institution. Same way, if you are publishing anything, you have to go through it, that whom you are going to give the credits. That is an ethical situation. That is an ethically right. Unless you give the proper credit to the person, it is wrong. You can't, as such, take away the credits of other. And how you are providing the informed consent means how you are volunteering them, how you are informing that yes, you have given the consent for this. So sometimes it happens, you tell that you will get so much of benefits, you will be able to do this, you will be get monetary benefits, you will be getting these economical benefits, but at the end, what is there? Now you have gone through the various policies. Earlier, the agricultural land is converted into other, taken by the other stakeholders for making the industries, for making the societies. And now these bills have again reformed that in this way you are giving them compensation for the present. What about the future? Means you have taken up their livelihood, you have taken their asset, you have taken their work skill, but not what about the future? So we have to be very cautious in defining all these components and ethically deal with these all these bugs. Now, when we talk about the benchmarks for ethical research, these are some of the benchmarks, but not limited to that. We have to have collaborative partnership. If I am doing anything, I should make it in a collaborative way so that if anything parallel is going on, we cannot have at this stage to uh, reutilize or to resources, because we are left with limited resources and we have to use them very wisely. We have to consider our social values. These are the benchmarks for ethical research, and especially in agriculture sector. Then scientific validity, it is valid or not. Then we have independent review, means if I am reviewing someone X or someone A person work, then being a reviewer, I am independent to give my comments. I should not be influenced by anyone. And favorable risk benefit ratio, this is one of the major concerns. Means we are not going to favor any risk benefit ratio. Means a person is from the industry and he will get benefit, that I should do some favor or I should do manipulation in this. So we have to obtain these benchmarks for ethical research, and they should be done in a very simple, so that these can be considered. Now, I'm taking this example of GMOs, genetically modified organisms. We all know there is always a debate going on whether they are morally or ethically acceptable or not. If they are ethically acceptable, then there is nothing wrong about producing, using, or consuming them. But if they are not acceptable, then we should stop them. So there is a demarcation. We should use them or we should stop them. Now we have to, that is a situation. So that situation is dealt with the ethical concern. That is, we have two bases. One is scientific base and another is non-scientific. When we talk about, because in ethics, science and philosophy, they go hand in hand. Means we cannot deny the science, we cannot deny the philosophy, because they are concerned somewhat with the moral values, other principles of our life, tradition, cultural. So if, when we talk about the non-scientific ways, this is GMOs are wrong, no matter how great the benefit may be. Scientific base nahi hai, these are not produced by the nature. We should not go with those. So that is there कि हम इनको stop कर दें, that they are not. But we talk about the scientifics, कि the benefit which are going to be we get from the GMOs, that is not there. So we should stop. So I have mentioned two bases, that is scientific and non-scientific. which is deal with the ethical concern. Now, when we talk about these GM crops, there are two sides. Means these are the some of the positive and some of the negative aspects. Every coin has two sides. When we talk about crops, they have enhanced taste and quality. We all agree. They have reduced maturation time, increased nutrient yield and stress tolerance, improved resistance to disease, pest and herbicides. New products and growing techniques, they are benefited and they are giving benefit to the industry. In case of animals, they have increased resistance to the different kind of pests. Productivity has increased, hardiness, feed efficiency has increased, and which have resulting in the better yield of meat, egg, and milk, and so on. When we talk about the environment, again, we have some benefits associated with it. Like is there some eco-friendly, which we are talking about the bioherbicides and bioinsecticides, then conservation of soil, water, and energy. We are doing that. We are utilizing lots of areas and making energy, trying to utilize them. Then better natural waste management. We are managing the waste with the help of agriculture. It may be byproduct or it may be product from the agriculture sector, which is helping us in managing the natural waste. Then society, because in society we have increased food security for our growing population. Again, day by day, and we are working on that so that it attains sustainability. Then on the other side, when we talk earlier, we talk about the safety. Now, how these are affected? Because there are some human health impacts. Allergens are there, transfer of antibiotic resistance marker, unknown effect. Then we are talking about potential environmental impact, unintended transfer, genes, microbes, and loss of flora and fauna. When we talk about the access and intellectual property, then domination of world food protection by few companies they have. Now, I quote a simple example. We all know Maggie. Maggie is one of the brand name for noodles. And later on, we realize that noodles are there. Maggie is a brand name. So this is how the things are changing, and we are getting aware of ethics. There is ethical consideration because we are violation of natural organism intrinsic value, means the inherited values which we have, intrinsic values as a natural organism I am having, I am changing with that because I am also a living entity. Same with the case of an animal as in the case of plant. Tampering with nature by mixing genes among species. Like we are creating this mixing of the genes and they are affecting other future generations. Then labeling. In some countries, it is not mandatory to label everything, and we are not aware what kind of food or what kind of things which we are consuming. Then society, new advances may be to just of rich countries. In rich countries, they are doing benefit for the society on the edge of the developing countries or the poor countries or the persons of poor countries, which is affecting a lot, and we have to minimize it so that this can be considered. These judgment about ethical acceptability depending on answering several preliminary questions which come in our mind, that what GMOs are we talking about? When we talk about what product, I was saying ethically right and ethically wrong, but that is depend only on what kind of product we are producing. In some cases, GMOs product which are fine, then it is yes to have GMO products. But in other kind of product, it is no. So there we have to consider which ethical theory we are considering and how ethically we are dealing. Different products have different ethical dimensions. That's the way that GMOs, they are coming in scenario, and we are trying to find out long-term consequences, how these can be dealt with. Will our children health be placed at risk by the use of GM technology? What about our future? What our sustainability? Will the same? Earlier, it was a concept that we should not use these food oils, these oils, and we shifted to some another kind of oils. Now, again, we are coming back to those oils. Then how this can be happen? How we can find out how we can limit this? And what about the future's people's want and preference? Which kind of food? Now everyone wants that I need a processed food, I need a pet food, so that it is easy for me to devote my time to some another work, to devote my time to research, to devote my time to some other one of my profession or my hobbies. Now, what is there? We have to define what preference I want, what actually I want, and I have to decide very crucially how I can afford it. Will it be sustainable for me for the future, or I have to shift to some other? So these are some of the issues which we have to deal with and which we have to cover. Now, with your permission, Utkarsh, I am having more time, 5 minutes more.
Yes, ma'am, we have 5 minutes more.
Okay, thank you. For example, Dr. ABCD is the principal investigator of a large epidemiological study on the health of 10,000 agriculture workers. He done his research, and she has a very impressive data, and she collected the information on demographic, agriculture practice, environmental exposure, diet, genetics, and various disease out. And she has published a paper on the relationship between pesticide exposure and diseases in a prestigious journal. Means she has done a lot of research, she has got the data, she has validated it and published a paper on the two components or two parameters of her work, that is relationship between pesticide exposure and disease. And sorry for the ingredients. Now she is, her lots of data is there in the data set, and she's planning to publish more and more. Meanwhile, she received a request from another research team who wants to access to her data, and they are asking that they are interested in their work, and they further want to examine the relation between pesticide exposure and a particular disease. And Dr. ABCD has a just a not clear image, but a brief concept that she is also going to have explore further by using other tools on this concept. Now, it, how dilemma situational is there, that how is she is going to accept or reject, or how she can do that. So he faces difficult choices. The now ethical norms of openness oblige her to share data with other research team. As we know, as an academician, if I share more and more about my experience, my knowledge, and what I have gathered, that will be a good gesture in terms of academician, in terms of research, in terms of the scientific community. But certain limitations are there. Her funding agency, maybe she has received a fund because she has collected so much of data, and an individual on its own cannot do. She has other agencies who has supported her. Now, how she can ask for that? They have some rules that whether she can share the data or not. If she shares the data with other team, they may publish result which she is planning to publish, then which we will be deprived her from her recognition, from her priority. Then it seems that there are good arguments on both sides of this issue, and that person need to take some time to think about. Now, this is a real situation which we are facing. These are the ethical concerns which we have to deal in our agriculture sector, which we have to deal very minutely, so that means the values which we have, the intrinsic values, the human values which we have, the scientific values which we have, how we can dissipate, how we can share with them, and how we can manage these things so that it provide maximum benefit. Now he needs to take some time to think about what she should do. To share data. Now she has some options that she can share data, provided that the investigator sign a data user. If she is signing an agreement, they will surely give credits to her. Define allowable use of the data. Means they are just allowing some data that yes, you can do, only you can utilize this data, or you can see it but cannot utilize it data. Or she may ask them to collaborate with the researchers that if they want her data, they want to see her data, then they should make her collaborator. Now, these are the problems or issues. So, what relevant information she is there, she need more information such as university के मतलब उसके पास funding agency के क्या codes हैं, उसकी teammates के what are the codes, how she is going to deal with, and they must be having some different options. Some might be saying do not share your do not share your work, do not disclose your work, just combine it, take it published. Somehow we have to be very dynamic, we have to be very active, we have to be critically assigning that how we are going to accept it and how we are going to provide it. So these are some of the issues which every ethical concern has to take an ethical committees have to deal with these principles, how these apply to these different options. And there are people now which are offering ethical advice that yes, you can go in this way, yes, you can do in this way, because we know everything regarding our research, but we are not specialized in every aspect of it. Since we are not expert in that concept. So there are certain people who provide you ethical advice how you can go with that. And therefore we have to assess how we can future assess how which risks are related with it, how regulations can be there, and how effectively these communication can be helpful in others. Now, third one is the animal ethics. Now, this is one of the main concern of the ethical committee, because when we talk about the medical ethics, there we were using the humans. Then we come to the biomedical ethics, where you utilize different animals. And in agriculture sector, animals are one of the major components in agriculture sector. So there are certain cases where we have to deal with. And these are some of the ethical issues, because we have to feed the a whole population, and we have to sustain them with the quality, quantity, and these food. And so how we are going to help in concerning with this, the animal ethical issues, and how we have to deal with. Now, I know this class lasts only an hour, because house ethics training keeps on going, because along with the science basis, it has a philosophical view. And on philosophy, you can have lots of things with you, which affects you and which makes you happen. That is there, and we have to see all these things, and we have every aspect of this. So I just wind up my session here. And if anyone is having queries, you can mail me at my mail ID. Is dia.archana57@gmail.com. And with this, I must say, science is important, but so is ethics, which provide balance in life. And to destroy life to save life, it is one of the real ethical dilemmas that we are facing in today's. With this quote, I thank you all for patiently listening me, and I thank this Kash for inviting me for this session and providing a platform to share my knowledge. Thank you, Kash.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for giving your valuable time and providing such a knowledgeable session to us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Moving towards the next session, now I would like to call our next speaker, Dr. Rohitash Kumar. Before inviting Sir for his talk, I would like to give a brief introduction of him. So, Dr. Rohitash Kumar has completed his bachelor's and master's in agricultural engineering from College of Technology and Agricultural Engineering, Udaipur, Rajasthan. He did his doctoral degree from National Institute of Technology, Hamirpur, in water resource engineering in civil engineering. His work experience includes a vast experience in the field of teaching, administration, research, and extension work. Currently, he holds the position of Associate Dean and Professor at Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology, Kashmir. Our speaker has bagged several awards and honors. Some of them are Professor Water Chair, Sheikhul Alam Sheikh Nuruddin Water Chair, Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India at NIT Srinagar. He has bagged a gold medal award 2022 for his significant contribution to safeguard the natural resources and environment conservation by Soil Conservation Society of India, New Delhi. Distinguished Alumni Award Academic in 2019 for outstanding contribution and technological advancement in the field of agricultural tech engineering by CTAE Alumni Society, College of Technology and Engineering, Udaipur. He has qualified GATE and NEET in 1997 and 1999 respectively, and had also secured scholarship from Ministry of Human Resources during master degree from Government of India, New Delhi. Dr. Rohitash has won many awards for best paper presentations. His publications include 130 research papers in reputed national and international journals, has authored nearly 10 books, several booklets, technical, scientific, and conceptual papers. He has also been a part of various projects and has organized national and international workshops, trainings, and summer school. He acted as a supervisor and as a research guide for many PhD and MTech scholars, member of advisory committee of nearly 20 PG students, and worked in more than 60 committees as member and chairman. So his biodata is non-ending. And now, moving towards the session, I would like to welcome Dr. Rohitash Kumar sir to enlighten the participants. Please, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Utkarsha. So my slide is visible. Utkarsha.
Yes, sir, your slides are visible.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, your slides are properly visible.
Okay, thank you so much for your nice words. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank organizer Utkarsha Gaware and Himani Paresh for giving me the opportunity in this 1 week faculty development program organized by Just Agriculture, the magazine, and SGT University, Gurugram. So I will give a brief about writing a research paper, how we write research paper. So I will cover structure of research paper, how we write review paper also. So one by one we will discuss in this one, because we know in present context it's very important how you write a good, and in a good impact journal how you write good paper. So I mainly highlight your original ideas and plagiarism. So I will cover all these things. So what do we mean by research? Is the pursuit of truth with the help of study, observation, comparison, and experiment. So these are different objectives of research. Defining and redefining the problem means first we define what we are going to do, and if already that study was carried out, then we redefine the problem. Then means these are different steps when we conduct any research. So formulating the hypothesis, or suggested solutions, means what methodology we are going to adapt, what hypothesis we will take, and on the basis of that hypothesis, what you can suggest for its solutions. So these are different steps of objective of research, then collecting, organizing, and evaluating data. That is another part of the research. Then making deduction and reading conclusions, careful testing of the conclusion to determine whether they fit in the formulating hypothesis already, because we have set some hypothesis, and for that hypothesis that is fit or not what you did in your research, what methodology we have adapted. So from an old French word, searcher means to seek or search, and re means again. So taking these two words, it's become research. So research, it is defined as intensive search with the purpose or becoming certain, means we want to using some methodology whether these things, means we reach at certain conclusion. So it is a systematic investigation into reality that we do in research. That is the meaning of research. So first I give brief about type of research. Okay, you might be know about different type of research. It may be descriptive research, applied research, quantitative research. So one by one we will discuss. Descriptive research means description of the state of affairs and it exist at present. Researchers only report of what has happened or what is happening. So in descriptive research, we will give these ideas. Then in applied research, that is aim at finding solution for an immediate facing problems. Problems may be any society, maybe for industry, maybe our any stakeholders, maybe some business organizations. So that is applied research, means we provide immediate solution for that one. Then another type of research we conduct for quantitative research, that is called, it is based on measurement of quantity or amount applicable to phenomena that can be expressed in terms of quantity, means using different, for example, we have big data. Based on that big data, we can reach some conclusion. We have analysis that analyze that data using some methodology, using some tools. So quantitatively, we reach at some conclusion. Then another type of research that is called conceptual research, that is related to some abstract idea or theory, means used by some philosopher and thinker to develop new concept or reinterpret that existing ones. So means we make some new concept on previously research that was carried out. So that type of research is called conceptual research. Then empirical research, that is a release on experience or observation alone, often without due to regard for system and theory. Because in empirical research, already we know there is so many empirical equations is available. Like this one, we also conduct empirical research. Just a minute. Then qualitative research, that is concerned with qualitative phenomena relating to or involve quality or kinds. That's also a very important, and many times nowadays we also go for this type of research. Then another type of research, that is fundamental research, that is mainly concerned with generalization and with the information of a theory, means already so many theories available. On basis of that theory, we want to add something that is called fundamental research. Then analytical research has to use fact on information already available and analyzes these to make a critical evaluation of the material. Means we want to critically what theory already, what methodology already available, and we go for using some mathematical equations, mathematical models, we evaluate that one. That is called analytical research. So these are different types of research. After conducting different kinds of research, so for everyone, we adopt some research methodology. So methodology, that's very, very important. Methodology should be in very step methodology, and it should be conduct always in scientific manner. So it may be understood as a science of study how research is done scientifically. So that's very, very important. So always when we formulate any problem, any research problem, then what steps, what methodology, what method, what procedure we are going to adopt. So that's very, very important. And always we write methodology it's because what methodology you have adapted, its result, its conclusion, it's depend on methodology what you adapt. What level of methodology you have adapted. So that's very, very important. So various steps that are generally adopted by researcher in studying research problem along with the logic behind them. Always we adapt some logic, some formula, some already some steps already proved by some scientists or some innovators that we adapt, and what we are going to adapt. Okay, so that's very, very important. So research methodology, that means your results that's depend on that one. Even your quality of research also depend on research methodology. So research methodology, there is just some guidelines. So always when we formulate any research, okay, we are going to conduct any research. So methodology have some guidelines. Always we adapt that methodology. So that's one very important, formulating the research problem. So always first we see when we conduct any research. So this one is the first step. We formulate a research problem. What is your problem? Okay, your methodology, that's depend on formulating your research problem, whether it is which kinds of your problem, what you are going to conduct that one, and what is novelty in that research problems. So it's a depend on your what kinds of research problem you have formulate. Then after formulating problem, we see the literature. Okay, what already available on that problem, what different author did work on that problem, whether already there is some set procedure or there is some or you are replicate or you are repeating that problem. It's a depend on your literature. So always we formulate a unique or your own idea research problem based on the literature available. Then developing the hypothesis, that's very, very important. Okay, after identification of the problem on basis on the literature, so we have developed some hypothesis. So these things we will do, these things happen in this kinds, these things we are going to adapt. So hypothesis is very, very important. So developing the hypothesis, that's play a very key role for a result or to reach a good conclusion of the problem. Then preparing the research design. Okay, based on these hypothesis, what research design you are using. You might know there is a number of statistical design also available. So based on how many treatment, how much data you are going to collect, it's depend on your research design. Then determine sample design. Okay, it's also depend, because if you will take more sample, more replications, your accuracy, that's depend on that one, or statically that is fit for your research problem. Okay, so design part is also very, very important. Then another, after doing all these steps, we go for, means already you decide these are data to reach some conclusion. So we collect the data. So data collection is very, very important, and its accuracy, means because results, it's depend on its accuracy. So collection of data means these different parameter data we collect, and how you collect, what type of instrument you are using to collect that data, or even for collecting data, what method you are using. Okay, so accuracy and time means when you are and how you collect that data, it's depend, all these things depend on your means accuracy that defined on that one. Then execution of the project. Lastly, means after collecting, after doing all above steps, execution of the project, then further we analysis of the data using some methodology, or using some formula, using some tools, using some software, we analysis of that data. Then further, because you develop some hypothesis, and based on these collected data, we test the hypothesis. Okay, then generalization and further interpretation, means data which you have collected, we go for interpretation. Okay, means what is the interpretation between different means data observation you have taken. Okay, means because generalization and interpretation, that is such part, on that one you reach some conclusion, you can means decide what results are, means we are getting. Then preparation of a report or presentation of the result, that is means formal write-up conclusion you reach. So this one is the research method. These are different steps when we adapt any research. So this one is the some guidelines. Okay, I think everybody might be know about these things. So identification, then scanning of literature, hypothesis and design part, and then analysis of data, testing and conclusion. These are different part, different body structure of conducting any means methodology of research. So this one is the research process in, I try to show in flow chart. Already I discussed this one. Define research problem, then a review of literature, review what concept is available. Okay, means then you decide what you are going that one, then formulate hypothesis, design research including sample design, collection data. So this one is, then there is again feedback mechanism. Okay, then feed forward also mechanism for correcting our research problem. Many times you have not received good results, then we go for back, what was the problem in our methodology, what was the problem in our hypothesis which you have selected. So this one is the flow chart we can see for research methodology. So then after conducting research, we want to write some research paper. Okay, later I will discuss body structure of research paper, but what happened in research paper, this one is, you can see different steps, means author write the paper, and we submit in any journal as per journal requirement. It means as per journal format the journal provide, then editor, after editor it goes to reviewer, and reviewer gives some suggestions. Okay, maybe a revision, maybe acceptance, and further that go to back for if there is some suggestion to author. Okay, and if a reviewer recommendation for rejection, then that is directly reject this one. So you can see here author, that is start, submit a paper. Okay, if that paper is fulfill requirement of journal, editor will check all these things, means even editor check its quality, its novelty, then its similarity also. That's very important. Means nowadays generally paper accept for further process of in any journal, it's means similarity part, it should be less than 20%. In many journals it's less than 10% also. So that's very important. So mostly 70 to 80 paper nowadays, if we submit without checking similarity or without plagiarism, so that will be rejected. That have high chance for rejection unless means it's similarity, it's less than 20%. So basic requirement that will check by editor. Okay, if this basic requirement fulfill, okay, basic requirement means whether it is comes in scope of the journal, okay, its quality is better, it's fulfills some novelty, it have means some impact for readers of the journal, then it go to assign some reviewer. Okay, then a reviewer, after assigning a reviewer, reviewers ask some comments from expert. So review and give some recommend. Reviewer means that reviewer gives some recommendations. Okay, based on the quality of the paper. Okay, if collect reviewer recommendations, make a decision. Okay, decision may be for revision or maybe for directly many time acceptance if quality is good, or if recommendation comes adverse from the reviewer, then it goes to reject. And if there that comes a revision required, then that go for revision and author again that revise. So this one is the cycle for author to reviewer and reviewer again go to author. So this one is the process for submitting of any paper. So here three things that's very important when we prepare any paper, then always keep in mind, means it should be means in if you select particular specific journal, it comes fall under that scope of that journal. And because if we select means if we do not select the right journal and quality is good, then that we do means wrong exercise. Okay, futile exercise. So always select appropriate journal which one is fit in your then quality and similarity. That is another very important, means after this one select good means journals that fit in your paper fit in scope of that journal. So what are reviewers looking for? That's also very important. Okay, means important for the hypothesis. Okay, the hard imaginations means authors they decided hypothesis, then originality, very important, then clear progression through the paper, means structure, means you have presented things nicely. Okay, so your paper may be many times your field study, many times your paper may be modeling, many times your paper may be your case study, many times your paper may be review paper. So That's very, very important. Okay. And well presented, that is another thing. So novelty and technical quality, that's very, very important, and always we were looking for that one. Now another parts, now I want to cover body structure of paper. So authorship, okay. So I will give brief. I think everybody know about when we decide the authorship, maybe means your first author, your co-authors. First author mean conduct or supervise the data analysis and the proper presentation and interpretation of the results. Generally, we award that who is the first author. Then co-author make intellectual contribution to the data analysis and contribute to data interpretation or revision of the paper, review each paper draft, must be able to present the results, defend the implication, and discuss study limitations. So those are the become co-author of any paper. So co-author generally help the first author, okay, for revising or for analyzing some part of that, or many times each co-author that divide different parts. This work will do this author, this work will do this work. Then corresponding author, that is means who will submit the paper to the journal, who will formulate the paper as per journal style and will submit, and all become a corresponding author, and he is fully responsible for its originality. Corresponding author and first author, that both author are fully responsible for its originality, or maybe there is any conflict. So there may be some abuses that must be avoided when you write any paper. Okay, many times there is a ghost authors. Okay, generally we leave such type author who contributed more, and even we have not acknowledged his contribution in acknowledgement. So we should include his name also. Many times there are in the paper, there's a gift authors, okay. So generally such type author, they did not contribute in the paper, but we include their name. So avoid such type thing also when you really means write a good paper. So this one is the structure of a research paper. You know, when you write any paper, so maybe many times we write a research paper, many times we write technical paper, many times we write review paper, okay, many times we write commentary, or because commentary and some case study, they have different means structures, but research paper, technical paper, and mainly review paper, maybe some part body structure is same, but review paper have some, there is some, because in review paper simply we criticize and we suggest, okay, what we can do in review paper on particular topic. But for research paper, a technical paper, this one is the set body structure almost in all kinds of journal. First we go for title, okay, means what title actually that reflect what you are going to present in your research paper, okay. So one by one I will discuss in detail. Then another, after title, deciding title, we go for next step. We decide authors. Already I have discussed about authors. Then abstract, that's a very, very important part. So in abstract, what we give, okay, in abstract we generally present methodology, data, and many times also we give novelty in abstract. Then keywords, that's another very important part, because keyword that reflect uh, what you have covered in your paper, or it will help for other researcher what is in this paper. On the keywords they search, means different which one is the requirement of there, so they can select or they can search there, means for a review of literature, another authors they can select on the basis of keywords. Okay, after keywords there is another a very important part, introduction. Okay, introduction tell us about story. Okay, what story you have given. Okay, what type of methods means available in literature, and what you are going to adapt in your study. Then methodology already I have given. In methodology means where you have conduct your study. Okay, what methodology, how you collect data, what type of equipments, instrument you have used in your study. Then another result in discussion part, means on the basis of your methodology you have collected some data, then on basis of tables, some graphs, you reach some results, you have some results and you discuss. Okay, in discussion part you see what previous means for your current research support, means some references also we have given in discussion part. Then another conclusion part that provide your context of your research paper. Okay, even we provide what we have used and what we can do in future, means future scope of your research also many times we have mentioned in conclusion part. Then acknowledgement means we provide who has supported to you to conduct your study, maybe means some funding agency. Okay, data, if you have collected secondary data, then also you can acknowledge that one. Then references, that's very important part. Okay, because on the basis of you have refer in your means support your study, then maybe secondary material you have given in your paper, that is supplementary or supporting materials. So this one is the body structure of any research paper, any technical paper, so you cover all these things. So one by one we will discuss. So effective manuscript, first we decide, first part is the title. Okay, title should be means identify that the main issue of the paper, and always we keep this title concise. Okay, it should be accurate, specific and complete. Always be careful, means so many things we have not mentioned in that one. And general title also we have not given, means title reflect what authors they are presenting in this paper. Okay, so title reflect, for example, if you have used some models, then generally we write modeling of. If you have used a specific model, then we use, for example, if you have determined sediment load using some SWOT model, so you can write modeling or estimation of sediment using SWOT model. So it should be concise and it's reflect your study. Should use professional language and avoid rarely use abbreviations, and it will means we select title which attract readers. Okay, it should be short, catchy. Okay, And if you select a good title and catchy and that reflect your whole paper, then there may be more chance for its acceptance of your research paper. So this one is all about what kinds of title you have to select when you write a research paper. So writing a good title for manuscript, there is some rule already we have discussed. List the topic covered by the manuscript. Try to put all of the topic together in the title using as few words as possible. Write down few possible titles and then you can select and you can discuss some previously published paper, your colleagues. Okay, after that one, you can decide what title you are going to use. Then these are tips for some good titles. Search for similar title or highly cited related article title in journal or Scopus published or in SCI journal. Okay, get the idea to focus on hot, trendy, and relevant word. Plan to 2-3 titles and then select out of these 3-4 titles one which should be catchy and concise and attract the attention of readers. So this one is you can decide titles. Then another parts comes after title. Okay, just a minute. Keywords. Generally, keyword we select what we are going to. For example, you are using generally keyword, we will take words which are not included in title, but that is used in paper. For example, you are using, and many times in keywords we use short form also. For example, you are using ArcGIS, then you can write ArcGIS. Okay, for example, you have estimated a runoff, then you can write, and that is not you have used in title, then you can mention in keyword also. So you can select 4-5 keywords as per journal requirement, in which journal key how many keywords required for that journals. So another, that's a part, after title, then there comes abstract. After abstract, we write keywords. Okay, so abstract also that's play a very, very important role. Okay, generally, if you write abstract in nice way, abstract, then however it is a compulsory, you have present everything very nicely. A whole part you present very nicely. Start from your title, then abstract, then introduction, then methodology, then result discussion, then conclusion, then references. Okay, but abstract, because this one is the first part. Okay, we see by the editor. Okay, which first refer by reviewer. So you concentrate more on abstract. And generally, when we write a research paper, then after completing other part, lastly we write abstract part. So abstract, that's very, very important. And abstract are just like the trailer of a film, that give whole idea, what methodology you have used, what result you have find. Okay, and it's we can write abstract around 250 words to 300. It's depend on your length of a research paper, but always we keep around 250 to 300 words. Okay, however, it's depend on general requirement. So it's very important. It's provides summary or central idea of your entire work. Okay, means your entire work that reflect in abstract part. And to briefly introduce the reader about the aim of the study, why you have conduct this study. Then aim of study, methodology, results, and finding. Also, we have mentioned in the abstract. Okay, so always we keep very concise, around 250-300 words. Okay, so in abstract we summarize the problem, methods, results, and conclusions. Okay, so it's very important. Always we submit a paper, then abstracts. That's a tailor. Already I have said it's a tailor of your research paper, your film. Okay, what you are going to present. So you always more concentrate on when you write abstract, because on the basis of abstract, one means pictures that's become for whole papers in mind of your reviewer, your editors. So generally this one is the rule of 10 generally we follow. Okay, 1 to 2 sentence always we mention in the abstract what are our aim of this study. Then 2 to 3 sentence generally we write for what methodology you have adopted. Then again 2 to 3 sentence we write results. In 2 to 3 sentence discussion and conclusions. But in some journals, many times they also required novelty mention in abstract also. But in some journals, they ask to give novelty in your conclusion part. But in many journals, they ask you how to mention what is the novelty, what is the what is the new in abstract part. So these are different rules we have to follow when we write abstract. Then introduction parts also, third part after title, then abstract, then keywords, then third part that is introduction part. So introduction also play very important, because in introductions you try to a story. Okay, means what is the background of that one. Okay, on the basis of review of literature, and also you give your part, introduction of your study. Okay, so introduction of what we are presenting in this paper, that also give in introduction part. Then also give some research gap. Okay, means problem of statement, what is the research gap, and you want to, this paper will fulfill that research gap. Okay, then defining the problem, present some rationality and novelty also we will give in many times in introduction. Okay, present way out what you did in the study. Many times generally these things will be present in methodology, but some part we reflect in that one. Okay, in introduction part also. So this one is one structure generally, because there is just some set rules when we write introduction. Generally it should not more than 2 pages. Okay, introduction part should not be, means mainly we, means when we want to increase the length, then there is just some set rule. Okay, this amount, okay, this number of pages, this number of words should be abstract. Okay, introduction part it should be maximum 2 page. Okay, however many times we write 3 page also. It's depend on your problem, depends on your research paper, but generally this one is some thumb rules. Generally we write 1.5 to 2 page introduction part, covering all these things in that introduction part. So detail of some more part also we will cover. Detail of a specific research problem, highlight main issues and controversies around the problem, mention existing solution and limitation, because we are covering literature of a review and we give some references. Okay, be careful in, okay, in introduction part we have to refer good research references, okay, because there is a more chance, and even many times we cover references related to the journal also. For example, you are going to submit a paper in Journal of Hydrology, then also we refer some hydrology journal reference, okay, related to that one. Okay, so be careful about all these things. Describe your approach, give an overview about paper structure. Okay, many times objective also we have to mention in introduction part also. So introduce your topic, describe the background, establish your research problem, specify your objective, and map out your paper. This one is the whole structure of introduction part. So many times problem definitions may what we will cover, the logical sequentially, systematically introduce problem and give hypothesis, spell out the question or hypothesis that your research aim to settle, explain why the research was undertaken, gaps in the existing knowledge or why therefore present state came into existence, means why you are conducting this study. These are some problem identifications points. Then proper citations of all these things we have to mention in using some references. So be careful about always you use latest or current references pertain to that problems. Even you cover nationally and some your regionally reference also, or we study which you have conducted, and global reference also you have to use. Then this one is the how you write end statement. Last para of the introduction must address your hypothesis leading to aim, objective, and method of the present form. Okay, this means end para should be introduction in this form. And about length already I have discussed, it's about 2 pages and maybe many times 1.5 page. Okay, so don't make lengthy this your introduction part. Another parts that comes methodology. Okay, many times we write your material and methods. Okay, so methodology, that's very important. So outline of this methodology, what was done, okay, and how it was done. That's very what and how you conduct your study, that we have mentioned is methodology. To demonstrate the research method used, okay, what method you have used, what type of implement equipments you have used. Even many times, for example, you have used some sensor in your study, even it's make also which this particular firm and this specification sensor we have used in our study, that also you have mentioned in methodology. Explain and justify the method of data collection and analysis, describe how the problem was studied, include detailed information to allow repetitions. Don't describe previously published procedure, only you have to give its reference. On this reference we have used this methodology. Identify the equipments and material used, use proper notation including chemical formula and symbols. Okay, for error analysis also statistical formula we have to mention in that. Then, because already I have discussed all these things, so provide an oral description of the experiment, present the data that obtained in logical order, then present the finding using heading planned in methodology. Simply state your finding without bias or interpretations, include only data primary importance, use supplementary data using secondary importance, okay, that you have mentioned in supplementary file, okay. Then use figures, table, or for more clarity, statistical analysis, some formula or methods. Then use some for results, visualizations, how you visualize your results based on methodology or data collections you have, okay. The caption and legend should be self-explanatory of each figures is stable and it should be in symmetric way. And always we put as per general requirement in which journal you are going to submit your paper. So maximize visual versus space, that method you have used, okay. Color method, color different colors when using different graphs, okay. You can use for more explanation, you can use different photographs, okay, for more clarity, okay. When you want to show any results through photographs, you can mention that one, like this one. So tables and figures, that's very important. When table, you have very few data, so it would be better you have to write in text form, or and many times means visualizations, that's means using some graphs, that's more important as compared to table, means it's depend on the your data, whether you give table, but both simultaneously there is a no need whether you give your data in tabular form or in graphical forms. So because I think graphical form using different, some using different tools, okay, some software, if you prepare some graph and you analyze in better way, that have more impact. So many journals, they require result discussion combined, but in some journals discussion part we have to mention separately, okay. So in discussion part, that also very important, how you discuss after results, your discussion part, comment on the trend finding and show your understanding of what your data suggests, okay. Means based on data you comment on that one, highlight anything unexpected that came up, emphasize what is new, different, or important about your results, interpretation of the results based on your result. Then explain how the result answer the question under study on the basis of hypothesis which you have assumed. Then consider alternative explanation for the results. Make the discussion respond the result and complement them. Compare published results with your own study which support your result also. Then conclusions should be consistent with the study of objective, the research, okay, what objective already you set in your study, it should be based on that one. So these are some point of discussion when you write a paper, then discussion uh, writing, you keep these different points in the mind. When you write discussion part, then avoid these things, repeat result. There is a no need repetition of the result. Statement that go beyond what the result can support, biased language or biased citation of previous work, confuse statistical significance, no specific expressions. So avoid all these things. So last part of main part that comes your conclusion, okay. So we try to sum up our study in conclusion part, your finding and highlight the significance of outcome of your study, explain how your work advanced that present state of knowledge, summarize the main points, conclude your thoughts, also mention novelty in conclusions, discuss use, extension, or applications, also mention future scope of this study, but be careful don't repeat result or the abstract results which you have mentioned in the abstract. Don't repeat that. Generally, in conclusion part, you show some novelty. However, some methodology also we have mentioned in that one, but we show a future scope and novelty in conclusion part. So after this one, there is another part, acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means person who help us, and funding agency we support financially as we acknowledge all those one. So this part is also very important. Then references, that's another very important. So we include all relevant latest references, but be careful, don't include too many references. Generally in review paper we write more references, but it's depend on journal to journal style. Always ensure you have fully absorbed the material you are referencing. Avoid excessive self-citation references. Confirm to any requirement outlined in the guideline for author, and means using some reference managers such as Mendeley. Using that one you can means arrange your references as per general guideline. So this one is whole about. So be careful when you write a good research paper, all these points. So in nutshell, I want to say, when you write a research paper, okay, title should be catchy, abstract should be 200 to 300 words. Then your introduction should be 100 to 2 page, 1.5 page to 2 page, using some latest and highlighting latest and good journal references. In methodology, it should be means generally 3 to 4 page, but maximum emphasis we have to give on result in discussion part. Okay, result discussion part, that's very important. It may be 4, 5, 6, 7 page, okay, for good research paper. Okay, then abstract around 300 words. Sorry, this conclusion part. And references, if use always latest reference, good journals reference you have mentioned in your paper. So this one is whole about body structure of the research paper and how you write research paper, so that have your means there is a more chance for acceptance of your paper. So thank you so much for your patience. And now if anybody have any questions, you are most welcome. This one is all about this my research. Hello Himani.
Hello, sir. Thank you, sir. It was indeed a very wonderful session, and participants have enjoyed it very well. And I personally learned so many things from you about writing the research papers. And as the participants has joined through YouTube, so I have got some queries from the participants. So with your due permission, shall I ask?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, one of the query is that as you have, as evident from your biodata, you have published numerous research papers and reviewed many as well. So according to you, what are the major or common mistakes the authors do which led to the rejection of their paper?
Generally, we have not means first see what's general requirement, and always we are in hurry for submitting the paper in the journal. So first you modify your paper as per general requirement. Be careful about similarity, okay, because plagiarism nowadays that it become a very big issue, okay, and papers should be fit in journalist, that's journals scope. What is means whether this one is fit in their requirement or not in their theme area. So generally, without means taking all these points, we submit the paper, then there is a more chance of rejection.
Okay, sir. So another question is that can you suggest some software for writing the references? Because when we are submitting the paper, like if we face rejection and we have to submit the paper in some other journal, then we have the most hectic thing which we have to do is like changing the pattern of reference. So can you suggest some reliable softwares for that?
I think Mendeley you can use. That software,
Okay.
Mendeley, I think you can use, and using Mendeley, you can means arrange your references, because otherwise it's become very hectic
Yeah,
arranging
sir.
that. So using that manager you can use.
Okay, sir. Another participant want to ask for some tips, like while submitting the papers, most of the journals nowadays ask for graphical abstracts, and how we can just prepare them. Like, can you provide some tips for that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Uh, Actually, you think about that one, and however, it's depend on your expertise. You can write graphically your abstract in very nicely if you have command in some means graphics system, or you know some tools, and uh, means they need visualizations things, means they don't need much about means words in words form, or in means text, they don't want, they need some means in very nice in means single words, means in abbreviation forms. So please do all these things, means don't write much text in graphical form. Try to represent in some graphs, some using different flowchart form. Okay, so your means novelty in that one, what is the new in that one, even methodology, means body structure is same, but in graphically you have to present all these things. So that is a requirement.
So another question is like when we are submitting papers to the journal, so most of the journal they ask the authors to suggest 2 or 3 reviewers for their paper. So how we can choose the reviewer for our paper, and how does it affect the chances of acceptance of our manuscript?
Actually, generally, what is trained nowadays, generally we provide our non-scientist, our non-key. I know these people, they are working in this one, so we provide. But generally, good journal, they never send the paper to those people. So I think you can provide the paper reviewer name, which means work you are referring in your paper. You can provide that one, and providing name of reviewer more concentrate on the quality of your paper. I think that's play important role.
Okay, sir. Sir, another query which I have just got from somebody, and the query is that you have said that we can use Mendeley for references. So, among Mendeley and Note, which software is the best?
Yeah. I think I have used both one. I think it's a depend on you. Okay. I think for on which you are well versed. So I think you can use both also. I work on both. So I couldn't
Okay,
find
sir.
much difference on that one.
Okay, sir. Sir, another question, like the last question for the session is, like most of the times the reason for rejection of our paper is lack of novelty. Like for Indian authors, if we are submitting the paper to some international journal or international publisher, then they cite this reason, like the lack of novelty. So how we can just improve this thing, like how we can just include the novelty in our research system?
Actually, generally, many times there is some novelty, but we have not mentioned in that one. And it's a depend what methodology you have adapted. what new thing. So always we have to try to include some new methodology, yeah, some new equations. Okay. So I think it's a depend on what you did in your research. So many times we have write research paper, but we have not mentioned in that one. So always try to what is available and try to add some new methods. However, we have data is available. You can analyze it in different way. Okay, and you can explain already these type things is available. I did this new thing. So it's a depend on how you present your research paper.
Okay, sir. Sir, from this, from your answer, I just got one query in my mind. Like, I have always heard from my seniors and from my teachers that it's not about the work, it's about the style of writing, like how you are writing the paper,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
ultimately
yeah,
decides that whether it's going to be accepted or rejected.
yeah. It's a depend on that one how you write. Actually, this one is the art, and to if you want to increase means possibility for acceptance, or you write a more number of paper, then you should collaborate more people, connect more people with you nationally, internationally, then you can increase number, you can write good paper, and even that will helpful to rethinking about your idea, because I did this work. Okay, I means do work collaboratively. Okay, from many countries people will connect with me for writing paper, for writing books. Okay, even means to writing research proposal also. So collaborate more people, more idea comes in your mind, and you can means update your writing skills. That is a main things. I think you can increase your skills, you can upgrade your skills, and more number of papers you can write within good impact journals.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. We are done with the questions, and I'm very thankful to you for joining this program as a guest speaker. And you have explained the topic very well and answered all the queries of the participants and mine as well. So, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank
So,
you so much, sir.
okay.
Okay, so dear participants, this was the last day of this 1 week faculty development program. So kindly do not leave the WhatsApp group, because all the updates regarding your certificates will be sent in the WhatsApp group itself, and we will surely join in some other programs for in coming future. So till then, bye and have a great evening.